Alrighty, so as promised, I'm prompt and I'm ready to go. If you guys are having a good time at the Small Business Expo today, clap your hands for me. Awesome. Just a heads up, we're going to ask for you guys to mute your phones for me, please. Thank you. I like that church music, though. Awesome. So raise your hand if you guys are currently building a brand that is valuable to you. And how many of you want to learn how to unlock massive opportunities by gaining exclusive ownership of that brand? And that should be all of you. You want to build so you can make some money. Well, I'm here to teach you today how to trademark your assets and leverage it to increase cash flow. I'm not supposed to be here today. According to my law professor, I wouldn't be here today. When I made it to law school, I thought I was doing good. I had graduated from college with 2 bachelor's degrees at the age of 19. I had worked in corporate America for some of the largest corporations for a few years, and then law school. So I thought I was doing good. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because if you stopped at our booth, you know I'm a straight shooter. I didn't see too many students in law school with babies besides myself. I later found out they had babies, but they were sort of hiding them. That was sort of the thing that you did in law school. And I'll never forget the day that my law professor told me that I needed to decide if I was gonna be a great lawyer or a great mother. I was devastated that my big vision, my big dream could literally be wiped away from me in a matter of moments. That was the moment for me that I knew I needed to go into entrepreneurship. That I knew that I needed to gain exclusive ownership of my brand so I can unlock massive opportunities and build wealth for my babies. Because I couldn't rely on corporate America with that thinking. And I'm sure each of us have a story. How many of you have someone that don't know who you are? Or who had your entire life figured out for you despite your big vision? Who doubted you? For me, that person was my law professor. I've been practicing law now for about 5 years. And I've seen what it takes to build a company successfully to a $1 billion brand. But I've also seen entrepreneurs similar to yourself be derailed in a matter of moments because you didn't do that one small thing that you probably never thought of, which is trademark your brand. Those that owns the trademark owns the brand. So as I said, I graduated at 19 with 2 degrees. My field was technology. I could have easily commanded an $80,000 position in that field. But I chose to go into law for 2 reasons. One, to build wealth. No secret about it. I want to build wealth, okay? But 2, to help you guys to protect your $1 billion vision and brand. And some of you may be thinking, ooh, $1 billion sounds scary. Maybe $1 million. Whatever your goal looks like to you, you have to understand that you are special and your brand is valuable. So I'm here to teach you guys what's required to be able to build that brand and how to take you from being the hustler. You all are here today, this sweat equity that you're doing right now, you're networking, you're getting to meet people. So how to go from being the hustler and doing all the things day to day to being the CEO and being able to wear that vision hat at any given moment. And that starts with you protecting the brands that you guys are building. As we talk today, I want you to remember one thing. Your vision is worth billions. Trademark it. So I want to tell you a story about a young lady named Haley Page. Do anyone in here know Haley Page? Haley Page is a wedding dress designer who did not protect her brand. If you look her up, she have 1 million followers, okay? She's very popular. Haley did what most of us do when we're starting our business. She started her business with a dream on Instagram, with her savings, and a lot of sleepless nights. She just knew she needed to get that thing running. Most people say get the LLC, market your company, do your fancy branding. But she started that business not thinking about any of the legal foundational stuff other than she needed to get the brand up and running. So as Haley began to grow her brand, people started liking her. She gained popularity on Instagram, 1 million followers, so she's popping, right? People finally started buying her wedding dresses, lots of them. She became so overwhelmed, or should I say excited, that people were supporting her brand until she looked up one day and realized she no longer owned her brand. As a small business owner, we're all looking for the cash register to start ringing. That's the moment that we're looking for. What we're not paying attention to is what we need to be doing when that brand grows. So, like I said, Haley looked up and realized the brand that she had built from scratch, she lost. How? You guys are probably thinking how. Because those who own the trademark owns the brand. Haley didn't quite understand what that meant, but she was about to get ready to find out. So while Haley had to fight this thing on the back end with lawyers, which is going to be an expensive battle, I'm going to teach you guys how to avoid this on the front end, because it could have been avoided. This thing that she had dreamed for, worked hard for, the thing that she had prayed for, had others pray for, had paid money for, businesses aren't cheap. She failed to protect that thing. Could you imagine working hard, building a brand from scratch, having sleepless nights, attending events like this to network and build your business, and having it stolen right away from you? Can you imagine not being able to use your birth name? Haley Page is the name her mother named her. That's her birthright. And now she can no longer use that name in the wedding dress industry. The punch in the gut, the feeling that you get from losing something that you built is unbelievable, but it can be avoided. Fortunately for you guys, you get to hear the story. For Haley, this is a horror story that is a reality for her. So as you listen to me speak, I want us to focus on 3 things that all of you should be doing in your business if you are looking to scale, grow, and be successful. The first thing we're going to focus on is growth. So when we're at the beginning stages of our business, many times we're focused on building the business, but we don't think about the growth of our business. Similar to Haley, we focus on the day-to-day activities, right? What do I need to do today to make a little change for tomorrow? We don't plan for success, neither do we plan for wealth creation. The purpose of a business is to build a legacy, unless it's a hobby for you. We plan for failure frequently, but we do not plan for success. We hold on a lot of times to that small business when we were solo entrepreneurs, right? It was just us. We hold on to those moments of doing all things, but we rarely ever think about what happens when this business becomes a big, powerful thing. And if you're good at what you do, it will become big and powerful. What happens when this business is about more than just you? Again, you pray for this business. You had other people pray for this business. You put money into this business. So we don't plan for that. So what happens? We start growing. If you're doing good business, you're going to start growing one day. And we look up 3-4 years down the line, and we realize we did not protect our brand, which is where a lot of you may be today. Some of you are already in business and are like, holy cow, I don't have a trademark. Don't freak out. We can still help you. But what we need to be thinking about is not just our smaller brands, but we have to be thinking about where we are going. Where are we trying to grow this business to, and how to protect our brands? You want to start thinking now, what other products or services you are intending on launching. So that way, you can protect your brand. Along the path, again, whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. This is very important to know. So that's part one. The other part is making sure that you budget for different extensions that you are intending to launch. Many of us, when we launch a brand, it's not just going to be one solo service. You are intending on doing great things. And I spoke with some of you today, and your businesses are amazing. So you want to make sure that you can protect your brand like a billion-dollar brand would do. Though it doesn't require $1 billion to do so, it's a task that you must do. If you want to build a wealth fortress around your brand, you have to today, even as a small business, start treating your brand the same way that a billion-dollar brand would do. If you want to be like Walmart, Target, or Vera Wayne, if you're thinking of the Haley Page story that I just told you, that starts with protecting your brand today like a billion-dollar CEO. So if you're thinking of the Haley Page story that I just told you about, you want to make sure that you are budgeting like a CEO. And what does that look like? And I'm going to tell you why you should do it first. The first reason you should do it, because you guys aren't hustlers anymore. When you start a business, if you're intending to grow and build a legacy, you're already a CEO. So you have to start wearing that vision hat as a CEO and operating as a CEO, because that's what you are already. So that's one part, or that's the why. But the last part that I want to tell you guys, and I want you to pay really good attention to this, because this is where a lot of small businesses fail. You want to make sure that when you're getting ready to launch that next product or service, that you can protect and gain ownership of that item prior to you doing it. This saves you a lot of headache and a lot of time. The best business owners know their exit strategies prior to launching. They focus on their growth strategies. What are some growth strategies that you want to focus on to increase your cash flow? Probably want to take notes, because trademarking and protection is just one part. But we really want to know how to increase that cash flow. Different growth strategies that you should be taking advantage of as a business owner is, do you want to franchise your business similar to a Burger King? Let other people work on your behalf, right? And you profit from that. Are you looking to possibly be like Subway and have multiple locations all over? Or are you looking to enter into a partnership similar to Haley Page to grow your business? And for some of you, you got some great businesses. Are you looking to go public and sell that company? You should start thinking about your growth strategies now. Haley Page entered into a partnership. That was her growth strategy. Her plan was to grow, and her clients loved her for that because she became even more popular. They were able to get her wedding dresses even quicker, right? But what she didn't do, she didn't discuss who owned the trademark. And this is a problem for her because Haley didn't own the trademark. The partnership owned the trademark. And because the partnership owned the trademark, they're now in a legal battle with Haley trying to fight to, one, still be able to use her maiden name, and two, not having to start over from scratch. Haley put out a post on Instagram some time ago telling her fans that she could no longer even use the Instagram account that had 1 million followers. She could also no longer use the name Haley Page. There was even rumors out that she was considering changing her name because the pain and the anxiety was too much for her of having to start over from scratch. How many of you would be horrified building from scratch and you can't use your name? And Haley Page isn't going anywhere. They own that brand. So she's going to continue to hear her name in the industry and not be able to use it because she didn't do this one thing, which was ensure that she owned the trademark. The pain, the anxiety of losing your brand and having to start over from scratch, I want you guys to avoid that because it can be avoided. If you know your growth strategies at the beginning of your business. Now, we talked about her growth strategies being the partnership. For you, it may be franchising. However, you have to ensure that you own the trademark. If she owned the trademark, now that she's ready to move on with her business and go somewhere else, she will be able to do so and still use the name. But because she don't, she's gonna spend $50,000 to $150,000 trying to litigate and fight this thing out in court. I'll tell you as a lawyer, unfortunately for her, she's gonna be starting over from scratch. Remember, whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. The second thing I want you guys to focus on is how you are pricing your products. Really important as well. As an entrepreneur, you cannot just say, hey, the price for this wedding dress is $1,000. That may be a good price. It may not be a good price. There's a lot of expenses that come with building a company. You want to make sure that you are pricing your products in a way that you can be successful. You want a business that is not only valuable, but that is profitable. What are some expenses that you want to make sure that you're allocating before you price your products? Because your clients should be paying even for your trademark, right? This is a business. Business make money. You want to make sure that you're allocating expenses, and this is an expense that many small and mid-sized businesses don't even think about when they're starting their business. But it's needed if you're going to be in business. You want to allocate for legal. If you're trying to build a wealth fortress around your brand, you're trying to build a legacy, you will need legal advice. There's no way around it. So we talked about Haley Page. You guys know that she's currently in this legal battle. She's going to have to fight this thing out on the back end. But you want to avoid that by making sure from day one you are protecting your brand. You don't own your brand without a trademark. It's similar to building a house. You wouldn't build a house on land you do not own. You should not build a brand when you don't own the trademark. So you want to make sure that you are affording legal by pricing your products correctly before something bad happens. Don't wait until your brand is stolen and then come see me. It's expensive. I'll help you, but it's expensive. You want to make sure that not only do you file your trademarks, that's just the beginning. You want to make sure that you are enforcing your trademark rights as well. I know some of you here, you already have a trademark because you're 1, 2, 3. Hopefully someone here have a trademark. But once you get your trademark, you have to monitor and enforce your trademark. What do I mean by that? We're going to use Haley Page as an example. JLM Couture, which is her partners, they own the trademark. Haley founded the company, but they own the trademark. So because they own the trademark, they have an obligation to enforce their trademark rights and make sure that no one is using the brand unless they gave express permission to do so. And that includes the founder as well. It's two options. Either they pay you to use your brand and you profit, or they stop using your brand. And failure to stop using your brand is infringement. And you can file a lawsuit for monetary damages for that infringement. But if you don't own it, you can't do that. So this is how serious you guys want to be about protecting your brand. JLM Couture doesn't care that Haley Page is her maiden name. They own the trademark now. They're making her stop use of the mark. That's how serious you want to be. You want to let them know that you own the brand, and unless they have your permission, they can't use it. Now, they can pay you. We always accept the coins. They can pay you, but if they don't have your permission, they cannot use it. This is very important because, again, you can file for trademark damages if they continue to infringe on your brand. So remember, we talked about whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. Most importantly, the best part about a trademark is it gives you the right and the freedom to choose who have permission to use your brand. So this means if someone's vision doesn't align with your brand, you can tell them no, not to use your brand. If they ask you to use your brand and you say no, you can sue them for infringing. You control your wealth. Remember, this is your legacy that you're building. We don't start companies just to have companies. We're building wealth for our families and for our legacy. And you want to make sure that you're protecting that. So the third thing I want you guys to focus on is thinking like a billion-dollar CEO, even as a young entrepreneur or an established entrepreneur. To get to the billion, you have to think and envision it. Raise your hand if you think you have time to file a trademark. Okay, y'all honest. I like the honesty. So as a lawyer that works with small businesses, I hear this all the time. I have time. I'm a small brand. You probably have said that before yourself, right? They go out there, the Jay-Z's, the Pepsi's, but not me. Well, I want you to understand that your brand is special. If you have a brand that is good, you're growing on social media, you're doing good services, it's only a matter of time before your brand be copied or stolen. That's the world of business, unfortunately. So you want to make sure that when your competitors, because they see you, when your competitors decide to copy your brand, that you can issue a cease and desist letter to them to make them stop. That you can have the options of licensing your brand out to them or franchising it and making money off of it. You want these options available to you. I want to tell you a story about someone many of you may have heard of before. Have you guys heard of Nick Cannon? You familiar with him? Okay. So Nick Cannon did not protect his brand. Despite him being a celebrity, despite him having money, he did what most small businesses do, but what none of the big players do. Nick Cannon had intentions on doing a lot of stuff. And to be honest, he's quite amazing at the stuff that he do, aside from rapping. Okay? But what he did is what small business owners do. The big boys do not do this, right? They are going to go and file their trademarks before they ever launch. Why? Because if you cannot own the brand, what's the point of building it? They're going to make sure that they can gain ownership of the brand, or they're going to start looking at how can we purchase the trademark from the founder? How can we enter into a license agreement? Because they know the importance of owning the brand. So if you want to protect your brand like a billion-dollar brand and build wealth around your brand for your family, we have to start behaving and thinking like the bigger brands. Big players file trademarks. You should too. This isn't just a big player thing. They make sure before they launch, they have that trademark. Why? Because they are securing their coins. If they cannot secure their coins, they won't proceed. Raise your hand if you want to make sure your coins are secured. So if you want to make sure your coins are secured, you want to make sure you're trademarking your brand. So back to the Nick Cannon story. Nick Cannon did what a lot of us do. He got great at his craft because we want to perfect the method first. He started marketing his brand. The show that I'm talking about is Wildin' Out. It got so popular, they're going on tours now. They're selling merchandise now. This is a popular brand for those of you who are aware of it. And what happens? Nick Cannon got fired on his day off. So Nick Cannon, not even at work, he made a statement about some controversial topic and he gave his thoughts on that brand. Viacom, which is his partners, did not like the statement that he made. So they fired him. What do you do when you get fired on your day off with a powerhouse that you just built? You say, okay, you could fire me, but I'm taking my brand with me. Because we assume because we created it, we own it. Well, Nick Cannon did not file the trademark. Guess who did? Viacom. Viacom had filed the trademarks. Now, I doubt Nick Cannon was aware of this, because if he was aware of this, he would have fought it to stop it. So when he thought he was going to exit and take the brand, they stopped him. You can leave, which you have to leave, you're fired, but you cannot take the brand. And in fact, what they did, they reached out to some of his co-hosts, members of his team that he had really brought to fame, helped their career, and that was learning under him, and they asked for his co-hosts, friends of his, to run the show. Fortunately for Nick Cannon, his friends said no. But they had every intention on running Wildin' Out without Nick Cannon. And could they do it? Yes, they owned the brand. So some time went by. His friends declined. So now that time had went by, Viacom and Nick Cannon, it was reported that they had worked it out. But Nick Cannon lost leverage. He lost the leverage because Viacom owns the brand. So he was no longer able to just say, hey, buy it from me, they own it. Or his negotiation power was diminished because they didn't have to negotiate with you for something that they own. You want to avoid that happening to you. So, our brands is more than just protection. Our brand is what helps us build a legacy for our family. We put a lot of sweat equity into this, not just to say I'm a CEO. We aren't wannabe-preneurs. We are CEOs. Everyone thinks if you create something, you own it. And it's just not true. Not this time. Whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. So, when Nick Cannon now have to go back to Wildin' Out and perform this show, he don't want to just leave his brand. He built it from scratch. But the pain of just knowing something that should have been 100% mine is someone else's, and I got to play the tap dance with him, it's awful. Viacom was able to keep going. You guys want to be able to keep going. If a dispute happens, you don't want that to close your business down. You want to be able to keep going. And I'm trying to teach you guys how to secure your coins. This is the importance of being able to allocate funds for legal. So when someone is using your brand or you have a dispute, you can call your attorney. And you can say, hey, I was at an expo like today, and I saw a company vending with my company name. I need you to handle that. And you allow us to handle that for you while you continue to build your brand without the fear that someone is going to steal your brand from you. So as mad as Nick Cannon was, it's nothing he could do. You guys don't want to be in those shoes of being mad with nothing you could do or being faced with a very expensive lawsuit. You may be thinking in your head, well, Nick Cannon is famous, he's popular. Haley Page is famous as well. She's now popular on Instagram. It cannot happen to me. It can. Trust me, your competitors see you. I'm going to tell you a story about a brand, Infinity Love Care. She's not a big brand, okay? In fact, she's a smaller brand. She has about 95 followers on Instagram. So we're talking about real small brand. But her brand is frequently stolen. Her slogan, she works in healthcare, and the slogan is, let our company take care of you. That slogan is frequently stolen. So one day she goes on Facebook. Facebook tell you everything. And she see a billboard with her slogan on that billboard from one of her competitors. Not only is it her competitors, it's someone that she knows. Well, if she owned the trademark, she'll be able to issue a cease and desist letter to them. And one, the billboard needs to come down. Or two, they have to pay you to be able to license your slogan. We come up with these quirky slogans, just do it for Nike, because we want people to remember us. And when other competitors start using it, that takes away your competitive advantage. Infinity Love Care does events around. She's in the same groups as her competitor, but that does not stop them from stealing from you. They're going to do it, but you have to be in a position to have a remedy for when they do it. So she was devastated. I'm going to let you guys in on a secret if you didn't know. Your competitors are in the same Facebook groups as you. Your competitors get the same training as you. Your competitors may be sitting in this room with you. They see you. And if you aren't protecting your brand and what you got is valuable and is good, it's up for grabs. Can you litigate? Yes. But we're talking about $150,000, 3 years at a minimum litigated. You want to avoid this. Competitors will use your stuff if you do not enforce your trademark rights. Fortunately, if you have a trademark, you're going to be able to have that billboard removed. You're going to be able to get paid for whatever they're using for you, or if they're at the expo similar to today. Our trademark, we own True Lawyer, right? If I walked in and I saw another law firm with True Lawyer, I'm going to the organizers of this expo, and I'm putting them on notice, because now they're on notice they're infringing, and either they remove it or both of you get sued. That's how that works. However, if you don't own the trademark, you just lose your creativity. And you risk having to start over from scratch, or having to prove that you were using it first. And that battle is expensive. So it matters. It doesn't matter if you have 95 followers or if you have 1 million followers on Instagram. If what you are doing is creative and is good, people will copy. Now, if you're bad at what you do, you should change it either way it goes, right? But normally good stuff gets stolen. Remember, whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. So as a CEO, you want to ensure that your competitors aren't copying your brand and that you're allocating funds for legal. Billion-dollar CEOs are busy marketing their companies. They're busy interacting with their clients, ensuring that you're providing great services and you're growing your business. The legal part, you want to make sure that you're leaving that to professionals to assist you with. You guys today are what I refer to as billion-dollar CEOs in the making. Because I've seen companies, hence Clubhouse, today they're not popular at all. A month later, they had an evaluation of $1 billion. You don't know when your spark is coming, so it needs to be protected. You want to be able to contact your lawyer, irregardless of if it's me or someone else, but you want to be able to say, hey, here's someone infringing on my brand. Handle that for me. And go back to building your brands, which is what you are doing. Give me 1 second. Okay, it's out. So whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. When you are pricing your products, we talked about this. Make sure that you can afford legal from the beginning. Why? Because you're not going to give out your creativity and your good products and services for $20.99. Because now you can't even afford to hire anyone. Can't afford to protect your brand. Can't afford to trademark. Price it into your products to make sure that you are profitable. If you want to build a wealth fortress around your brand and protect your vision like a billion-dollar CEO, you need to allocate funds for legal. You have to be thinking bigger. Bigger than just building a brand. This is about building wealth and building a legacy. So, it doesn't matter how small you are. You're special. If what you're doing is good, you want to protect it. Someone will try you. It happens all the time. Beyonce, I'm not sure if we got some Beehive in here, but Beyonce, Nike, Coca-Cola, they don't play about their brands. The Beehive, if any is in here, they will tell you. Beyonce will send you a cease and desist. She don't care if you are a one-man team or a billion-dollar company. You can sell a shirt like this with Beyonce face. You're getting a cease and desist letter. Why? Because she's enforcing her trademark rights. She want to make sure that she stop you because she's building a wealth fortress. And part of building a wealth fortress is ensuring that you don't have to continue to start over from scratch because you have already protected your brand. You want to make sure that you're securing your coins and you ensure that you own your brand, but also ensuring that you protect your brand by stopping people from infringing on your trademark rights. Haley Page, Infinity Love Care, and Nick Cannon, they all had a tough pill to swallow. You want to ensure that you don't have to experience this pain by knowing what is your growth strategies, allocating funds for legal, and ensuring before you launch your brand that you can protect and gain ownership of your brand. Again, you wouldn't build a house on land you don't own. You don't want to build a brand when you do not own it. So one thing that I want to point out to many of you, because you may be thinking, okay, I know it's important to trademark my brand, but what do I trademark? What should I be trademarking and protecting? So I'm going to go down a list for those of you that's taking notes. The things that you want to make sure you do to protect your brand. 1, you must own and ensure you gain ownership of your brand. That's your name, your brand name, your logo, your slogan. You want to make sure that you're copywriting your pictures, your books, your course. If we have any teachers or course providers in here, your material in that course is intellectual property. Copyright it. If you have anything that you don't want stolen from you, it needs to be protected with a trademark or a copyright. That's the first thing. The second thing is making sure that you are monitoring your brand. How? Ideally, you're going to have a legal professional do it. But trademarks allow you to gain exclusive ownership of your brand across the United States. This is a federal trademark. So you're checking everywhere across the United States to make sure that someone in Little Arkansas isn't using your brand, making money that should be yours. Like I said, I own True Lawyer. So if you're in Arkansas, I need a piece of the pie because I own True Lawyer. You guys want to increase revenue and cash flow in your brand by making sure you're not missing out on revenue that should be yours. Why is this important? As a business owner from day one, in legal, we don't distinguish small business from big business. It's all the same. As a business owner, you have an obligation to ensure that you enforce your trademark rights. If you allow multiple companies to start using your brand and they're popping up without you saying something because you don't know, or because you've seen it and you didn't have money to protect it because you didn't have the trademark, it's going to be almost impossible to get one of them to stop. Because their defense is going to be, there's so many other people using the mark. Trademarks are serious. It's not just protection. We're talking about wealth building, building your legacy here. So Pepsi would not be Pepsi if they lost their brand. People are in love with the Pepsi brand. Can you imagine grabbing a Pepsi, but it said people? I don't want people pop, I want Pepsi, right? That's how important branding is, and they put a lot of money behind it. So I'm going to give you our last story really quickly is about Tesla. Everybody know who Tesla is, right? This founder, we know this company today as being a billion-dollar company, probably a couple B's behind it. Elon Musk did not originally own the name Tesla. He purchased the name from a founder similar to yourself. Unfortunately, that founder didn't know who he was selling it to. He didn't know the real value of trademarks. Trademarks is your company's biggest asset. Elon Musk knew what he was going to do with the name Tesla and the value that just the branding had. That he sent one of his workers to the founder's house and asked for him not to leave his doorstep until they had an agreement to sell the name Tesla. They agreed on a price of $50,000. That sounded like a lot of money. He could have offered his trademark at $1 million. Elon Musk would have purchased it. Trademarks are assets. They go on your balance book for your accountants, right? When you go to sell your company, you can sell just your trademark. So he purchased it for $50,000, and now that brand is a billion-dollar brand. He could have sold just his trademark name alone for $1 million+. You guys have that same opportunity if you own it. There's trademarks right now. If you go to Trademark Exchange, that's a database that sells different trademarks. I'm not talking about selling inventory. I'm not talking about selling, any equipment or working hard and building services. Some people build brands just to sell the intellectual property. Right now today, I-57 is selling their trademark for $1 million. Let me backtrack because I checked it this morning. They gave a small price reduction, so it's $9.75 if anyone wants it. This isn't anything besides the intellectual property. You're not getting restaurant, you're not getting equipment. Your trademark is valuable. So when you start talking about building wealth for your family, let's just say you want to close your business, you don't want to use it anymore. You sell your trademark, you sell your IP. This is how legacy and wealth is built. Whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. See, for me, building my brand isn't just about building a company. It's about building generational wealth. For my family, it's not just a hobby for me. Building a brand that you have exclusive ownership of, it affords the family vacations. It affords you helping your senior parent pay for their medical expenses, the sending the children away to private school and trips. It allows you to live life the way that you see fit. But we cannot keep starting from scratch. If it's going to build a wealth fortress for you and generational wealth, you have to own it. Own the brand, own the land. Whoever owns the trademark owns the brand. Can you imagine losing your legacy for your family because you didn't do this one little thing, this one little trademark thing? That's mind-blowing, especially when you can avoid it. Trademarks aren't that expensive if you do it on the front end. It only gets expensive when you fail to do what you needed to do to protect your brand. It's painful starting over from scratch, y'all. I talk to entrepreneurs a lot. Some are crying. We have some deep conversations about their year 5 realizing they need to change their name. You don't want that to be you. It's not just a brand name. You're protecting your future. You're protecting your family's legacy. Personally, for me, I'm not willing to risk that, okay? All because I forgot to do this one little thing, which is trademark my brand. So I'll leave you guys with this. Always remember, if you don't remember anything else from today, your vision is worth billions. Trademark it. This is how you build generational wealth and legacy for your family.